I love the analogy of the clogged pipes that you were talking about in Bernie. I think you had talked about this in San Antonio. And because I have clogged pipes. But I don't want to talk about them because that's just dwelling in the... But I have clogged pipes. So...
It's a good analogy. Did you hear us talking about it? There's a pond and water feature at the Abraham-Hicks Center. And it has fish in it. It's really beautiful. Some headwaters and some falls and a little stream. And it falls into a bigger pond at the bottom. And the water is drawn from the bottom into a pump house where it is filtered and then put back. So the water stays clear and nice for the fish and for the stream. But the water was getting cloudier and cloudier, and it turned out it was because the pipes that were going back in were clogged. So the water was being drawn into the filter, and when the filter was attempting to put it back into the pond, those pipes were clogged with, there's a very hard soil in Texas, it's called caliche. It becomes almost like concrete, and so over time, those pipes were clogged. And the remedy was to lay some new pipes. At first, they laid them right on top of the ground just to make sure that the theory worked. But once the new pipes were laid, then the water was filtered and put back, and right away the pond cleared up. And the point that we were making with the analogy is that it was so much easier to just lay new pipes than to try to chisel out that hardened, habitual thought, caliche, that had been put there over so much time. There's just an easier way of going about getting to where you want to be than going back and trying to figure out everything that went wrong. Esther spent quite a bit of time wanting to know, well, why are the pipes clogged? How does that happen? Well, what difference does it make? They're clogged. Well, what clogged them? Well, what difference does it make? They're clogged. Well, why can't we unclog them? Well, what difference does that make? You can't unclog them. Well, can't we poke something big and strong enough in there? Can't we jackhammer them out? Well, not with a lot of difficulty. The pipes had a lot of angles in them. There was just an easier way of going about it. But the pipes should not have clogged up. Well, that's sort of beside the point to the clear pond that you want, isn't it? Well, maybe, but why are the pipes clogged? And how long have they been clogged? And why didn't someone notice that they were clogged? And why didn't someone keep them from being clogged? In other words, you can spend quite a bit of time on a subject that is really irrelevant to where you want to be. Because the point is, where you are is where you are. And where you want to be is where you want to be. And the path of least resistance from where you are to where you want to be is much easier if you lay new pipes than if you try to unclog all of the old pipes that explain how you got to where you are. Well, how long have I been here? It's not really my fault that I am here. My mother. It's my mother. I blame my mother. I blame my mother for why I'm here, and my first wife, and second one. I blame all of my wives. You get the point.
So actually, in a sense, laying new pipes are really laying new grids. It's really establishing a new grid, because all those other grids, all those other clogged pipes are all playing themselves out. All those grids are playing themselves out. All those pipes, even though they're clogged, just ignore them. You don't have to clean them out. You don't have to get the Drano. You don't have to get the brush and get in there and clean them out. So just ignore them.
Because really well said. Because my point of attraction is what it is. It is what it is. Now, given where I am, how can I get to where I want to be with the greatest ease? And it is so much easier than most are allowing it to be.
I hate when you say that because I know that it's easier than that, and that I don't hate when you say that, but it's annoying.
But you just spoke back to us our brilliant analogy and got it so completely. You said it as well as it's ever been said. So why wouldn't every subject be easily applicable to what you just said? Because you've got clogged pipes, but so what? Remember, you said it to us. So what? So what? So what difference does it make what I believe? If my beliefs are in the way of what I want, then don't I want to establish some different beliefs?
Sure.
Our friend has unworthy beliefs, and they're in the way of what she wants.
Yeah.
Isn't it prudent for her to establish some different beliefs?
Absolutely.
And isn't it, now this is the part that you got hung up on, Isn't it an easy thing to do? Shouldn't it be as easy as laying new pipes? Conceptually, absolutely. All right, now we choose you because you're becoming very difficult. No, we're just kidding. You've clogged our pipes. We cannot deal with it.
I'm pretty powerful if I've clogged your pipes. Okay, so
we laid new pipes.
Okay, I'll do the next. Why am I up here? I'm up here because I want to traffic in those high flying frequencies. I want to traffic in inspiration, love,
you often do.
Passion, but I don't feel like I do.
Well, then do it more.
I get stuck.
Well, stop it.
Okay. So
stop saying it is really what we mean.
Well, yeah.
Stop focusing there.
But I'm here and we're having a conversation.
Yeah, you're here and your pipes are clogged.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, but our coaching's getting really boring. That's it. That's all we've got.
I guess it's like, because I've been practicing and I've listened to all the CDs, blah, 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 the whole thing. I'm a very smart rat. I'm a very kind of like, I get it. And, all right.
Well, remember this. Let's say you have 3 subjects that are active in you often.
Yeah.
In fact, these 3 subjects pretty much dominate what you're thinking about. And 2 of them are problematic. You really want them, however. And one of them, you fly high every time you think about it. Everything about that is easy. What we're saying to you is if you could dominate your thought patterns with the one, the other 2 would come into alignment. Because the 2 are clogging pipes, the 1 is clearing pipes.
Yeah, just focus on that.
So it is that simple. But why is it not that simple? Because I've got momentum going. So I've got momentum going, so it doesn't feel like I'm thinking my thoughts, Abraham. It feels like my thoughts are thinking me. That's what momentum does. Mm-hmm. So you're inspired to those thoughts because the momentum is there. So the only chance you have is when you wake up going to the one that's easier, going to the one that feels good, until it becomes so dominant that it's the one that has the momentum going on it.
So even if it's just like, I love summer, I love this time of year, I love the warmth, I love how it feels to wear, shorts and tank tops, and it just feels so good to have this sun be bathing over me. And just focus on that. And if that's the only thing.
But the thing is, you're really hitting on something important. That's just not meaty enough. In other words, that's just sort of happily boring after a little while. And most of our physical friends, this is a really good So most people, you've heard us say this before if you've been listening to us for a while. We don't say it often, but we really mean it when we say it. Most of our physical friends would rather have negative momentum going than no momentum at all. And
the drama.
Because the momentum feels like stuff happening. Yeah. The momentum brings inspiration. Yeah. The momentum gets you going. The momentum gives you plenty other people, because there's a lot of people that'll jump on those discs. You get on that high-flying Isn't the Weather Beautiful disc, and Joan Rivers is going, people don't want to talk about that stuff. But you get on some political problem or something that's meatier because you want to feel productive. But until you've given high-flying momentum a chance, you don't know what productive is. In other words, when you really get flying in those high frequencies, you have a leverage of the energy that creates worlds coursing through you, and all kinds of really amazing things begin happening.
So how do I get that? How do I get that passion?
By picking something that interests you and focusing upon it frequently enough that momentum gets going, and by not sabotaging the momentum of it with contradictory thoughts.
I think that's what happens is that I just get I get inspired to do things and to be on like a subject. So like
now here, consider this. This is really, 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 really good. You're going to like this, and it's worth the interruption. We promise you, because it's the answer to your question. How can I get the momentum going?
And keep it going.
And keep it going. So I want it, but what just happened to the momentum? I want it, but we have a question for all of you. So how is it that you are so able to stop the positive momentum with a but? What about stopping the negative momentum with a but? First time, I can't do it, but I don't know how to do it, but it isn't working out for me, but maybe there's a chance. I feel unworthy in love, but I feel worthy in all of these other things. It's about understanding momentum and choosing the momentum that you want to let loose with. So, you've been knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want. And you came into this life experience with a very positive momentum going. And then you've added to it by sifting through life and identifying what you want. So there's this really high frequency, good feeling momentum going. It's going. And if you're not doing that thing you do, that momentum will dominate your experience. But you are doing that thing you do. You are climbing on those lower discs, and you are letting that momentum carry you away. But you don't have to, and now you know you don't have to. And now, what's going to happen to you, now that you have this awareness of the discs that you are choosing, whether you know that you're choosing them or not, you're choosing these emotional grid discs. You're choosing them. Now that you know that you're choosing them, now that you know, and there's not one of you who does not now know that, every time from this point forward that you are on a disc and momentum's going, you're going to say, I chose that disc. You're going to know that you chose it. And you're also going to know that you could have chosen better if you had made a little bit of an effort, if you were a little more determined about it. And that it's easy to get momentum going. It's easy to choose the disc. Here. When you first wake up, before there's any momentum going on any disc, it's really easy to take your pick. So you wake up first thing and you say, let's see. Should I be discouraged today? Should I be frustrated today? Should I be hopeful today? Should I be really, really happy today? Yeah, I choose that. And I have another 15 seconds, 14 seconds, 13 seconds, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Just that much. Because you've got 17 seconds, 16, almost 17 seconds of leeway to choose. And if you do it every chance you get, every time you wake up, sleep a lot for the next while. Every time you wake up, if you deliberately choose that and then make a small effort to get some momentum going, it is easy. It's only not easy if the other momentum's going. We admit that. We acknowledge that. We agree with you. It's not easy once momentum going. We do not suggest that you stand at the bottom of the hill and stop the momentum of your car. We do not suggest that at all. Get out of the way. Get out of the way as best you can. Get out of the way.
And then all those other grids will just, it doesn't really matter. They just play themselves out. They just do whatever they do. And
the other day, Esther was flying high. She woke up feeling good. She's loving feeling good. She's relieved at how good she is feeling, basking in feeling good, and made it almost to lunchtime feeling really good. Editing recordings, working on things that she loves to work on, feeling really, really good, and then entered into a conversation with someone. And as the conversation began, Esther consciously said out loud in her own head, there's the potential of getting on a disc I don't want if I continue this conversation. And she thought to herself, I'm not going to go there. But the other person was determined to go there. So Esther applied every tactic of evasion and then was criticized for not engaging. And then Esther engaged. But she won't do it again. She engaged. She said, no. I'm just feeling really good and I just want to stay there. And before long, there it was going. The momentum got going. It did not turn out well. It did not feel good. And it took until the next morning to recover from it. That's just how momentum is. A very well-meaning person with lots of facts. So now, when we say it won't happen again, you see, Esther saw that coming. She consciously knew. She knew what disc she'd chosen. She was proud of where she was. She was determined to stay there. But she caved at some realistic conversation. Because Esther wants to be there for others. She wants to be there. She doesn't want to seem like she wants to be. But it won't happen again. Because she saw it coming in advance. Knew what was happening, knew what she could do about it. She just didn't have enough momentum to do it about it because the other momentum, because there have been other conversations and there was momentum there too. So it was a sort of learning curve. But after, when you know that something you don't want is coming, you see it coming, you know it's coming, and you don't do what you know to do to keep it from coming, and it comes, and you live it out, don't you think you learned something? And don't you think you launched some rockets of desire about next time I'm going to be clearer sooner, you see? You don't have to be sucked into those lower discs by your own habits of thought, by your own memories. Sometimes a song will trigger you and put you there. Sometimes smelling something will trigger and put you there. But it doesn't have to happen that many times before you say, wait a minute, I know better than this. I have more control over my vibration than this.